Right, I mean, it's the thank you. Announcements there. $1,000 reward if you know anything about the person who version ducks down there. Looks like they were shot. It was 10 o'clock at night a couple nights ago. It's a morning. Really? Wow. It's crazy. Yeah, it's a big state. And big blackberry tree fell on City Hall. Looks like overnight.
And we removed the two next to it as well because they were looking like they were leaning and almost.
Does it look like structural damage?
No,
Just a storage.
the storage building has a little hole on it, but we have something simple.
They were making room. You were making room for the water tanks.
My dad always said, blackberry is good for one thing.
No.
Falling over. Yeah. Whenever you don't want to. Okay, comments? Okay, we got one. Just Welch.
Yes.
Ben Welch, non-resident of Blanco, county resident. Concerns have two issues to be concerned about today. First of all, was a result of a workshop that we had. There was discussion about the possibility of $5,000 a month maintenance fee that would be charged to the city. I don't know if that was incorporated in your working documents so far, but if that clearly, if that was accepted, that's $60,000 that needs to show up in the budget somewhere. So I'm sure you'll take that into account. Plus, I assume also if it's accepted, the 1% would have to be accounted for. If it hasn't been, it should be in there. The second thing is over the weekend, apparently there was a call made to the police department to make a report of a domestic or a child support issue. The individual was told to go on duty started on Sunday. That is very concerning. Even without seeing the work documents, I'm not sure what this budget is. But we are down to the point. I know Jerry Thornhill works all the time. You can say that. He's a human being. He needs rest as well. So I hope they ended up waking him up or what. Very concerned if there's any period within a 7-day week. It's not someone available to respond. I don't know the outcome of the incident. It's probably not my business, but we have time for police on duty. That's a concern. Sure, staff folks cover the out.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Heskey, you notified us of a pretty significant snafu, top line numbers that render a lot of our work frustrating. Would you like to brief us on where we are and what we have to do to get our finalized?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, let's see. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So once we determined, did you go over to the INS? Okay, so in the INS fund, our current obligation that we have to cover this year with our INS is $855,998. Oh, sorry, can we back up? I'm on the wrong page. $800,617.51. Nope, 780. Let me start over again. I'm getting too excited here. The debt obligation without the 2024A, which includes the 2024 that's already been approved, we have $785,998 that we have to cover with our INS. Upon conferring with, Candace Fry over at CAD. I've sent her, I've redone the truth in taxation, including the 2024. She has submitted it back. And so determination for us, that would make our total rate have to be 0.332228 per $100 for the no new revenue tax rate, or 0.418025 per $100 for the voter approval rate. The INS is going to be 22 cents of that, 0.219861 per 100. So if you go with the no new revenue tax rate, that leaves us with $409,181.20 for the no new revenue. Would you go back to the general fund?
So effectively, the numbers that we've been working with were off by that much.
Yes, they are.
400,000.
Yes.
So when we asked, this includes debt service, that it did not include debt service.
The debt service, it was not divided the way it was supposed to be. The amount that was supposed to go to debt service was not, the INS, the M&O was less than what the INS is, because it doesn't, your INS is your primary, what your property taxes cover. The other revenues for the city is what's left from the property taxes and the sales tax revenue. That is how the city makes their money. They don't even make it on water. We pay for water and provide it to the, I mean, yes, we do get some, but not a lot. Our primary is sales tax and property taxes. So the maintenance and operations is what the M&O is. And so that's what's left of the property taxes, which on it's 22 or 11 cents on the no new revenue for the maintenance and operations, or the voter approval would be approximately 20 cents per 100 on the no new revenue. So can I swap?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I can, okay, sorry. Okay, so upon looking at what we have here. This is the amount that we would be in deficit with the no new revenue tax rate, with the appropriate numbers. This is for 2024.
This is 20.
2024, 2024, adding
Now, 2024 agency.
2024, A is the, is 2.5.
Or, no, we haven't determined that yet.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the one we got.
So Jill,
But you are speaking of it.
Yeah.
but
The one that has not been passed.
Okay, 2024, A is the 2.5.
Yes.
Correct.
That's what I said.
Yeah, we've not approved any of it.
So 2024, not 2024.
Correct.
The-
Yeah,
the-
everything
that-
has been
that-
approved.
By
This is
by
the debt
including
obligation.
that, it knocks us off $409,000.
This does not include, oh, yes, for the 2024?
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
How is debt service on a debt that size, $400,000 its first year? That's
Interest.
Well, it's not, I mean, you're paying interest
on,
on the debt obligation, but the debt obligation is not, I mean, you're talking cents.
so it's $2.5 million. The debt obligation on that.
3.390.
3.9.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There was the 3.39. And the, what I saw was the average annual interest was 2.77.
All your outstanding debt, not just.
Okay, not just the, but then how,
And there's $512,000 of principal forgiveness.
But that's not incorporated into how you do your budget though, because my INS, my obligation is 3.390. So I do in my treatment taxation, I have to cover that in my INS. Until the forgiveness has been forgiven.
So let me explain something just real quick. We have got a $3.9 million package for basically the water TIF with $512,000 of principal forgiveness, which I call grant, but we call it principal forgiveness. So the $3.4 million, and INS has to has to move up. Originally, Steve Perry, our financial advisor, said that of the 3.2 to the 3.4 million with the 2.5 would increase the INS by about 4.2 cents. That's what they mentioned when it was 1.5 million, almost 5 cents, because you want to go to the 2.5. So the problem with this whole issue is INS moves everything up, and if you do no revenue rate, that actually flattens everything out to where your INS, your M&O is paying for a portion of your INS for this water. That was the whole issue. We just know the number a bit. That is the issue, essentially.
I still, and then I'm a little slow today. I don't understand how the inclusion of the 3.3 knocks us off by $400,000. That's 12% of the total note.
Okay, where are you getting the 400,000?
Well, right here, the top that you said we were off.
The 409 is what's left of the tax rate that's gonna be contributed to the M and O.
Roughly
Correct, yes, I'm sorry, I misunderstood
230,000.
what you were asking, yes.
230.
I think the other issue was that all the revenue was going into the general fund piece and not flowing over as it should have.
It was not.
Commissioner, were you on of the of last year's budget as well at 711 that includes the INS revenue also?
No, I have not determined where the 711 has come from. I know that there was in the proposed budget, there was a revision of the proposed budget. I don't know I have not determined what the cause was of that.
And where I'm going with that is I know there was a similar mistake or a similar value mistake north of $200,000 about the last couple of budget meetings last year. And I'm curious if this is the same error that's maybe built in this worksheet or this book.
Period.
Okay, this is deja vu from last year. We had the whole thing moved at the last minute as well. For the top line errors.
Okay, so where I'm at on this, I mean, just to give y'all, I mean, this is where the no new revenue tax rate would be. And that is at the 0.332228 per hundred. And tonight, this is where we're going to have to find that determination. If we go in and we do the rate that is at the voter approval rate, it puts us 116,000. But
Puts us 116,000.
in the black on the positive side. If you look over here where it has the 2029. So on the mid-range, because we can adopt anything in between that to where we've got our bases covered. I did this one at a, this is at a, this would be a 0.178. And would give us 42,000 in the black.
0.178.
Yes, sir. I mean, whatever the, yes, sir, 17 cents versus the 20 cents. What about INS? No, this is all M&O. This has nothing to do with INS. INS is going to be 22 cents no matter what. Okay.
So that's what we're.
Yes,
got
that
that
is
correctly
the
now.
difference.
INS.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
Have you all come up with some scenarios where we can make this work without any increase?
I have found, I mean, other than finding, I have found some money that were being expensed that were liabilities that I have, and it was 250,000 or whatever it was, and I've got it down to 196,000 in that case. But this is the scenario there. The only other scenarios that we have, and I don't know that there's any other way to eliminate, other than cutting employees, and I don't know that we have employees to cut. But yes, yeah.
Why
Yeah.
don't we show council, this, not an option we recommend, but this is an option.
Okay, so on this option here, with the no new revenue tax rate, this is eliminating 2 police officers, and these are on the ground police officers.
Now, come back to that document. Can you, when you say no new tax rate, no new revenue?
Oh, no new revenue, that's the point 30. This is technically what the verbiage is from last year's tax rate to this year's tax rate based on what the appraised values are.
So basically, no new revenue is equal to no additional tax.
Correct,
No
that
tax
is correct. Yeah, it's not a tax increase, it's just based on those values.
Oh,
Yes,
that's
sir.
what I meant.
Yes, sir.
That's what you meant.
You got it.
Still, the two variables down, to just that one number.
Okay, so
So
this,
let me ask, in the full budget, the other one, how many total staffers do we have? in the
Staff
police-
total
in the Staff in the
police
police department,
we
including
had-
officers and staff.
we had allocated 10 staff, that is including the
One civilian.
9 officers and then the 1 civilian, correct?
So this would have 7 officers and 1 civilian.
Yes,
That's.
yes.
If I could ask Gary, I apologize, there was a question asked during in the comments, Sunday morning was, what was there, somebody off shift or? Just curious.
A few months ago, when we went to the we had to prioritize priority calls, and we were getting assistance from the town. We're still getting assistance, but unfortunately, they're down employees as well. And so they're down, and so Sunday, I was already out and on the streets. I responded to the call within 10 minutes. Because I was on another call.
Yeah.
And then you called.
Yeah, about the tree, yeah, okay,
So,
so it was responded to within 10 minutes.
right,
Okay. I appreciate
but that also puts me on call every and all the time.
it. I
I'm
understand.
gonna tell you right now, I'm not in favor of cutting 2 more positions at all. It's gonna be too much of a sacrifice on the citizens of this community, and it's gonna be too pressing on my department. I've already agreed to not fill 2 positions for 2 years. That's a big obligation. Most departments won't do that.
Thank you.
So if I can add though, one of the reasons why we're in this position, is that when you approve, the water PIF for $3.4 million, that's gonna automatically move the INS up and increase it. With no new revenue, that would actually flatten everything and make it so that, like I said, so that the M&O, eats into the INS. But normally, you're gonna put in $3.5 million in debt, but you're gonna have a higher debt service. And that's just a general idea of why we're facing.
Well, that's why it was asked repeatedly if it included that. Okay.
Was there a similar debt service added last year that wasn't calculated, that was reflected in the budget sheet from last year? Again, back.
No.
$670.
No, what last year's issue was a different issue. Last year's issue was that the worksheet wasn't, some numbers were transposed, and basically $150,000 that we didn't have, we thought we had because we added it twice. This year is a moving target, the fact that you're adding the INS at the same time as you're having the budget workshop.
Thanks for that clarity. I just wanted to make sure we weren't making the same mistake.
Questions, comments, input, ideas?
It's going back to what's the version of the full staff, but the not full increase?
This would be the 0.178, which would give us in the black 42,000.
That makes sense, less.
Yes.
And that's with the current staffing we already got.
So that'd be 10 total PD and 5 total, city hall staff.
We still have a single maintenance person in there.
No, sir, it's in for March for their contract, accepted that offer. Addison.
Well, the city's supposed to protect its citizens, so, I mean, I don't see us, we can't cut police. I just don't see that. I don't see how we could do that in good conscience.
And just to double check too, so the new from our contract, any of the expense, the monthly expense, will that captured?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Anything else?
When you're talking about voter
I know.
approved, okay,
I like the
are you talking about what it was last year or what it can be? Okay, because I think it's
Where you can reservation, if you have to have.
And this is lower.
yeah, I think it's 3%. Yeah, so it can go up 3%. Pardon me?
Are we below?
That's still.
Yeah, it's just the voter approval rate or the, yeah.
Because I think it goes up over 3%, you have to have an election.
So the rate you propose is a bit below the maximum voter approval rate.
Yes,
If there's any consolation, frankly, I think, and I agree with you, Candy, we're kind of painting a corner. Looking at the numbers, but we had north of $200,000. As much as we like to say no tax increase, I think we've got to keep our current staffing. So in my opinion, but I do like the lower rate, so at least we can, because this is frankly pretty embarrassing for the council and the city overall, but at least we can look at citizens in the eye and say we haven't raised taxes to the maximum rate.
And the M&O is lower.
And the movies
oh,
is,
and the voter approval, yes.
and the movies is,
Community rating came up for, yes.
The Moody rating is 82, and it'll stay that way for at least a year. No matter what you do today, it'll stay that way for at least a year, and then they monitor it yearly.
I think the consensus is going for the lower of the two, not the zero, but the. And keep looking for savings.
okay, but then it's all the way back to 2024.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we-
So we, and I'm just talking, so like, we need to scrap the 2024 and like, just do what's necessary over there.
Let me ask this on that point. We haven't borrowed any money in 22, so that wouldn't affect our interest in sinking. And also, if and when we do borrow any of that money, only the portion we borrow. We've got a water plant that's 400 days away from coming back online
If we pay for it.
after we have the money to pay for it. So any delay on not funding that pushes that 400.
I'm not like 3.9, 2.5.
Me too.
Yes, yes. Yeah, it is too. This
Yeah.
is just.
And that-
The water plant is the first
The
part of it.
2.5?
Yes, the water plant is the first chunk.
Oh, we have to do that.
450,000.
Okay. Well, so we just line item that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, that's.
Yeah, we just line out everything. Nothing.
Wait, you said you're gonna see out, it could just be a line item.
They see it as a cost until we
Till we
borrow
do
the
it.
money. So, and if we decide not to borrow the money, there is no debt service.
suggest you list the water plan projects on
It already is.
2024 on 2024.
I haven't found out yet if we save on the other projects, if we can roll it over automatically. We'd have to get Gina on EB. Commissioner John, I've been working today. I do believe that there might be enough savings in the 2024 to cover the water.
think they'd have to approve it.
But yeah, but that's not a done deal. We're trying to get, because remember last time our Bureau bid back line, there was 70 grand, and Bureau did it for 20. So, and he did it better and bigger. I think if we get some competitive bids from some comments and we might be able to knock that. But you said, so the gut check, it was a little pricey per foot.
They need a wiring Saturday.
So before, I mean, it's not exactly the topic of discussion for this meeting because it's a different agenda item for the 2024A. However, I'm looking very hard at 2024 period, the existing one, to see if we can squeeze it out to cover the water plant.
It's very least we can get that water plant.
Yeah.
Real quick, two things. 2024 is Texas Water Development Board grant, or excuse me, PEP. And there's three specific things that are in it. The Cielo Water One, 9th Street, and Palomino. And we might be able to get the Palomino subbed out, but we have to go to the Texas Water Development Board. Same with getting any money that would go to anywhere else. We have to do that. The other thing I want to mention is, so we probably have $1 million of line item stuff that we need to do, and I'll just mention the two that I can think of. You have the filter to waste, which is $6,000. We probably have about $30,000 of VFD, and then this could be push, but at some point we'll have to deal with the sewer line that goes to the water. Doesn't have to go all the way to the north side. Maybe you can cut that $500,000. So you're talking $1 million. But there are two things you can look at. You can either increase the INS a little bit to do that, or we could look at funding that, as the mayor said, with proceeds that we get from a portion of the PSI, and we could also look at a rate increase on anyone that's outside the city. So not inside the city, but we get outside the city customers, not just Seattle, but just places that we could look at a rate increase on that. I know OJ, I don't know that. So there's two ways you can fund that $1 million.
What was it?
Or-
The initials, we talked initials. VFD or
VFD, which are
Variable drives.
Frequency.
Yeah.
$40,000.
The pumps coming out of
Oh, water
the
safety,
and
water
the stallion
safety.
tank.
water safety.
No. It's so we can match the flow rate going into the tank, coming out of
We
the tank.
sync up our flow with Texas Water's
So
flow.
the tank will stay level.
That, but there was another one, there was hydrants, fire hydrants.
There are fire hydrants also that will have to be done. I mean, I'm not saying I see them right now, but there's about $100,000 worth of hydrants.
And now,
And there's $450, like I said, $450 on the filter to waste, and another $500,000.
When you say filter to waste, just for the public's info, that's to get the treatment plant online.
That's correct.
It's
It's a
been down for a
component
couple
of,
of years and it's a 400 day.
yes, yes, sir.
And I know we're expecting more revenue from PSI, but it's conservative what's in here, correct? I mean, we all project what it might.
So
and that's.
it's a conservative amount that they have also what they call basically with the project built in, but there's gonna probably be more savings other than that. We're not gonna know probably December or January. Before. I would suspect that sometime in the middle of next year, like maybe January or February, we're gonna have to do a budget amendment. So getting cash from that. We'll be able to direct this.
Do you have any of that cash in this budget now? Any of the PSI?
We don't know it's gonna be.
Everything with the,
So
yeah,
so we're
it's
not,
just our standard.
we're not just hoping
Yeah.
in one of these numbers.
Does that still have a 20,000 contingency fund in there? Okay.
So Lori suggested the poll, and I think that's a good way to bring it to 20. There are 3 proposed possible rates. There's the 0%, which would require cutting 2 staff. There's the voter approved rate, which would give us $100,000 surplus, and then there's the lower rate, which would still give us a surplus. Okay, so it's 1, 2, or 3. 1 is 0, 2 is the full, and 3 is the middle. Brian, what do you like it?
Not liking any of it, but, yeah. I'll abstain from that right now. I'm not even gonna,
Okay,
I'm not gonna put my 2 cents in on that.
Dennis?
Yeah, I would go with 3. I just don't think we can cut our staff.
The middle one, okay?
Correct.
Bobby,
Where you gotta go with the.
Candy?
We can't cut that.
So we can't rate, or do you want to raise it to the max or raise it to the middle?
The middle is not cutting staff.
Correct.
Now,
Likewise.
And what is the rate of the middle one?
I'll have to keep the full 5-digit number on there, but it's, right now, I have it set at 0.178 per 100. It's 0.17800.
now that would
And
be,
that's the M and L.
Yeah.
that would be raising the tax rate, how much?
From, well, I don't know.
It'll be the 1.78 plus the 0.219.
1.71 plus the what?
Because the INS and the M and L you have to have.
Well, 0.178.
0.178 plus the 0.219. It's like 0.397.
397.861.
What was it last year?
About 3.
0.35.
Would you say 0.39?
61.
That's what it was last year?
No, that's what we're
Sorry.
voting on.
Okay, so I was going to.
Last year it was 0.8.
They raised 6% overall last year.
I'm not sure.
I think the rate stays, the same, but the appraisal went up so much. That's, and that can happen again.
So when they say tax rating, the tax increase, they're literally comparing it to how much taxes you paid last year.
Yeah, it also.
You ask for a 3.5% increase, you're gonna pay 3.5% more.
It takes into consideration both variables, the tax rate and the values to come up with a bottom line, how much people live in. And that's what it's by. That's right.
Your bill is going up.
Yes. Anything else we need to cover on this portion of this meeting? Nope. Okay, this does include the 20,000 contingency get help out, at Lego Goodwill. Okay. Very good. Well, we're going to close this portion of the meeting and retire to the executive session. Thank you, everybody.
So we have that.
It's all there.
Well, are we for days?
Yeah, because we'll get a motion tomorrow.